Hi, and welcome to part 2 of the Oxford Community Arts Center ukulele series. This is the first lesson of part 2, and we're going to continue from what we learned in part 1 and expand on that a bit. We are going to start by tuning our ukulele. I have a lot of musician friends who always say we tune because we care. And that is as much for the musicians as the audience. So I have my C needs to come up a little bit. E. My E needs to come down just a little bit. There it is, right on the green. And, well, up to the A. Okay. Now that we're in tune, let's go ahead and get started with our first song. We are going to go ahead and slow things down a bit. You learned a lot of songs in that first part of this series. You're still going to have a lot of songs here to add to your repertoire, but like I said, we will slow things down, and that way you can digest and assimilate all that you have learned thus far. So we are going to begin here at the famous Elvis Presley song, Can't Help Falling in Love. It's one of my all-time favorites and a really wonderful song to play on the ukulele. Now, the first part of this song, you probably can already play because you've been playing so much all of those songs, particularly those songs from lesson 6. So we're going to start like we did in Somewhere Over the Rainbow, in Old 55, and we're going to start with our second finger on the 3rd fret, 1st string, our C chord, okay? And then, of course, we go to the E minor, and then your A minor. And then we have your F, C, and G, and then your F, G, and then your A minor, back to your F, C, let's go to your G7 here, and then back to your C. Excellent. So we are going to play that a second time for the verse, just like that. But let's think about how the rhythm goes for this song. It has the same feel as Hallelujah, House of the Rising Sun, that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All right, so we can use that rhythm. The other way you can play this, and I've heard it played both ways, so you can choose which one you like the best to play. And this can be done in a more 4/4 time rhythm, where we have our quarter notes and we have 4 of them in our equal measures across the song. So you can, I'm going to use that calypso rhythm to show this one to you. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, down, up, down, up. 1. All right, so you heard my finger. Again, use your ear. If you hear something that's not quite jiving with your ear, check and make sure your finger's on the right string. Okay, so I'm going to stick with the feel of 3 against those 2 strums, all right? Because that's the way I tend to play this song. That's the way I tend to play it most of the time. So let's go ahead and go through the second verse here using just that rhythm, all right? I stay. Would it be a sin? But I can't help falling in love with you. All right, so you just play the same exact chords that you played in the first verse, and like I said, you can give it that, and it has a real processional feel to it. I have played it at weddings when brides have walked down the aisle, and then some, and it really does have that nice processional feel to it. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. We're going to go through those first two verses one more time, and then we're going to learn the second part to this song. The second part to this song also holds a new chord for you, so you'll be excited to learn that. Here, we're going to start on that C. Now, I don't have this listed at the top of the page like I did for the Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but you can give yourself an intro for this song. The intro I would give myself would start with, but I can't help falling in love with you. And then you would go into the verse. Wise men. I wasn't ready for that with my finger, so I have to consciously think about that. There's my F to C and my G, 2, 3, 4. But I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin? But I can't help falling in love with you. Now, if you noticed at the beginning of both of those verses, I got caught off guard. I had my third finger there and had to move everything over to get that E minor, okay? And get it well. So again, having that forethought can be helpful, or else you're gonna have to think about it right on the fly and get those fingers moved over, okay? But you can see it can be done. Again, we talked earlier in part 1 about actually practicing making that mistake. So just in case you get your finger there, go ahead and practice it. Practice moving from the one to the other. And then you'll be proficient and you'll be able to make those smooth transitions no matter which finger you find yourself on. Okay, let's move to the next section. The next section is the little bridge that starts on our E minor chord, okay? Now, our new chord is called a B7. There are a few ways to play B7 on the ukulele, and we are going to play one of the alternate positions to play this B7. But it is so wonderful because if you find yourself here on E minor, the first finger's on the first string, 2nd fret, second finger, 2nd string, 3rd fret, third finger is on the 3rd string, 4th fret. Move everything up a string. And you have your alternate B7 chord. So you find that first finger on the 2nd string, 2nd fret, The second finger is on the third string, 3rd fret, and the third finger is on the 4th string, 4th fret. All right? Now, this is a really great progression to practice going back and forth. All right? And it just so happens that the majority of this bridge is you going back and forth from one chord to the other. Let's do it a couple more times. E minor and B7. Good. So when I put this into context of the song, I come to like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Then I have some things are, I'm going to go to the word meant, and I'm going to go, do you remember when we were playing A and I was telling you that you can always lift that finger and play that A7? And it was a nice lead-in. Well, we're going to use it as our chord. It is just your index finger on the 3rd string, 1st fret. It is your A7. So you're coming from your E minor. Some things are, I would lead over with my index finger, meant to, and you're going to go to your D minor. You just have to scoot that index finger down. Everything falls into place. And then your G7. And you're back to take. There I go again. Take my hand. It's so much easier when you use that second finger. Take my whole life to. My ear heard that. I went up into the wrong fret. But I can't help falling in love. Here's my G7 with you. Now, a lot of times we'll find that we get a big ending there. All right, so I've just come through that. Falling in love with you. All right, I can do my little triplet feel there. And I'm going to tag this, but I can't help. And maybe I'll just strum that once. It is a nice effect, especially after you're building up to drop off there. And then you're back to falling in love with you. And you can always tag that extra ending there with the C in the G7 back to the C. So notice I even followed my voice there too and went, falling in love with you. Something you can do along with this too, all right? So let's go back and start at the bridge and go through it one more time together, and we'll get another good dose of playing our E minor to our B7 and then coming over to that A7 chord, all right, as it stands alone there. So starting on that E minor, there we go. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Back to your E minor. Some things to your A minor are meant to D minor to be. Hang on to that a little longer. And E, resolves here to this nice G7 chord before going back to take my. I surely have a habit of doing that in this song, and I think it's because of where I'm coming from, all right? And I have a habit. So again, if you can consciously think ahead of time to get that second finger over my hand, there's your A minor. Just add your index finger, take my whole life. That third finger is getting a bit of a workout there. No wonder I'm in the habit of playing it. But I can't help falling in love with you. Big ending. But I can't help falling in love with you. Okay, so I had added just a couple little extra things in there to finish that ending just a little bit, to make it a little more dramatic. And you can do that same thing too. So when you are practicing, take your time, and again, you can use the ukulele without strumming and just practice the actual physical movement of the fingers on the chord, all right? That helps a whole lot in even making that change. I always recommend going slowly. I dove in right away today, and sometimes if I'll take it a little slower, I will be able to consciously think about placing my finger. So as you play, go ahead and take it slow. And you're going to develop your own habits. As clearly I have developed this habit of wanting to bring that third finger to the C in this song even. So that is something that I can either choose to break by slowing down and going over and over again and recreating a new pathway, or just leaving it. Now, you have a chance to create your own habits. So you choose, okay? Again, sometimes in the moment, you never know where you're going to land. So practice both ways, but make a conscious choice on how you want to start those verses. And I know that you will have success in playing this song. I look forward to playing it all the way through with you in the song series videos that accompany this lesson video, and I will see you there.